needed him to come up. Oh, see, it was at TV.
I tried to put it on. Yeah, I just have to.
Rob, can we go ahead and do you think we should shut that door?
Just a little.
Call to order the regular board meeting, West Valley School District, October 8th, 2025. Call to order. Laura, are you?
Yes, can you name the paper? It's asking me for a second verification. of who
Why
I am.
you? And I don't know why.
It's Marcus's fault.
I was gonna say it probably is Mark.
Citizens may comment on items appearing on the agenda when invited to participate during that agenda item by the board chair. Citizens may comment on items related to school district business not appearing on this agenda during the public comment portion of the meeting. Citizens, after identifying themselves, will proceed to make comments as briefly as the subject permits. Basic rules of decorum are in effect at all times. The chairperson may interrupt or terminate an individual's statement when appropriate, including when statements are out of order, too lengthy, breach personal privacy rights, are abusive, obscene, irrelevant, or otherwise improper. The public should realize that this is a trustee business meeting conducted in a public forum.
They will stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of
The United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll go on to the consent agenda. Minutes of the last meeting.
Marcus, how do I get in if I don't have my cell phone or pen? And there's, yeah. Thank you. Uh-huh. Please have verification.
How is the sub pool this year? We've had a few more commitment time, but we're only at a handful of full time. Less than 5.
We did offer the bonus again that if they committed to working 5 days for every 5 days that they work in a pay period, they will get $100 bonus.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So basically it goes from $100 a day to 120. So
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, do we have any correspondence? Participation? Check it out, yeah.
you must do it for 3 minutes. It's not up to 3 minutes. You must do it for 3 minutes.
Oh.
Well, here they come. Here's the
game. And we just go there. Look at I.
She crossed it out.
There you go. Okay, gotcha. Okay. There looks like there's no correspondence or public participation at least for each hearing. So we'll go on. The West Valley Parent Teacher Organization report. Got anybody here for that? More report.
Well, they're doing a fun run. I see, so.
Hold on now. I'll see there.
Yeah. See the sign-ups coming through for PTO.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Few of those.
Awesome.
Okay, well, we'll hope to get a report on that later. How about the West Valley Teachers Organization? Got anything?
I'm here, but nothing to report.
All is well. All right. You're welcome. Okay, the principal's report.
I don't log in, it's easy.
Great.
I don't know if it's. And I didn't bring a. Yeah, as you're here.
And how many issues does he have to solve in one day?
Oh, I have to just, I don't get to like say anything because it was like a 5-year-old. To complain anymore. Got it. Great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, it's you first.
So we just pulled together, Tanya finished up our benchmark testing, our district benchmark testing, which is our Ames web. And put together just our tier report. So your green is your benchmark kids, benchmark and above. Your yellow is your kids that are medium risk, and your red would be your high risk kids. And so just kind of looking at the grade levels, this would be math for middle school, so 5th grade and 6th grade. Some of the things about 6th grade is the standards start a new loop in 6th grade, and so we do see a drop at the beginning of 6th grade because we have if you look at like even our grading system, the domains are different in 5th. There's bands of math skills, and so 6th, 7th, and 8th is one, and then you'll see 5, 4, and 3 is. So we usually see a pretty good drop as we move into 6th grade, just because those bands change categories and different kinds of things. So, and you see one in 3rd as well. So that's kind of what you see here for math, but that's 5th and 6th, then 7th and 8th. So looking pretty good by the time they get to the end of that math band. And you'll probably see that one in Alicia's too. So
So then just looking, yeah, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. And just to kind of point out too, the green goes from the 36th percentile up. And so there's kind of that like lime green, we call it. So it like, even though there are some kids in this green and that seems like, oh, they're on benchmark, some of them are at 36th percentile, which is still, some of those title kids that we would still service and try to target interventions and things like that. So just the way that Ames Web does it, we have to kind of dive deeper in looking at those numbers and those scores when we're like placing kids in intervention groups and things like that. But still, overall, I mean, it's a lot of green. It's a lot of great things. At the bottom, you can see like how many kids, fall in that, for instance, 4th grade, 9 kids, 11% are kind of in that tier 3 up here. And then, 70%, 59 kids are in that green. So the numbers down below, and I can share this with you so you can look at it later on too if you wanted to look at the numbers further. But it's good. And then for math, we're still finishing up testing for kindergarten and 1st grade. So I didn't include that for now. And we're hoping to finish early next week, ideally.
you can kind of see if on that one too, that drop in 3rd grade has to kind of do with that change in those standards. Yeah. And this is our reading scores overall, 5th and 6th grade. Fairly good. She explained the different numbers at the bottom, and then 7th and 8th. You can go ahead. Oh,
Yep.
sorry. Just look a little different. I mean, it could be the day, it could be the testing. And if you look at them, they're not really that different in like number wise. It just kind of transforms onto the ones. A little drop in the benchmark. We don't have a lot of reading interventions in the middle school. We have, we use Read Live a bit. I think we have 12 licenses. But overall, if we have done MTSS up until that and then move them into whether or not they're gonna qualify for, IEPs, we don't have a lot of interventions. This year we did offer some support classes, but for reading fluency, that is during second trimester. So a lot of those kids, the teachers are trying to address that in flex if we see a drop in reading fluency for some of those kids. But our first support. Ooh.
We're burning the popcorn.
No. Like that one. So we have a writing recovery first trimester, reading fluency second, and then third trimester, we don't have anything for like a reading, writing kind of intervention. So yeah,
Great.
in like 5, 6, 7th, and 8th. We have Read Live, which is an online program. But the licenses are really expensive, so we kind of use them sparingly. You can go ahead with yours. Oh boy.
Okay. Wrap up real quick. So, reading for 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. Yeah, so a lot of green again. And I think like looking at this, it makes me happy because I feel like it kind of shows that our interventions and things that we're doing are working. I also feel pretty optimistic about what we have going this year with our paras. We just hired another para. She started today and she's primarily working with special education, and we needed some help, especially in like the life skills classroom. But I'm feeling really solid on the elementary side. I know Nicole's not feeling the same, but pretty solid with our para support this year and the interventions we have going and the support we have. And so that's a new feeling. That's really exciting. And then we're also, trying something new a little bit where the classroom teachers are doing kind of an extra dose of reading intervention with their kiddos. We have 1st and 2nd grade piloting a new curriculum called UFly that's also being used in School District 5. And so we went to a training this summer to kind of learn a little bit more about it. And so those grade levels are starting with that, and it's really targeted and has been positive. The feedback that I got from the 1st and 2nd grade teachers is that they really like it and the kids are liking it. And I think it'll be exciting to see and look at the data this year after we get through this and kind of compare it and see what other grade levels might be interested in doing it down the line. And then, oh yeah,
just have one little thing. We're also piloting IXL.
Oh yeah, that's a huge one. Yep.
Program, and it is math and reading. We were most interested in math, but now as we get going in our piloting, I think there's some excitement about the reading too. Math and because we struggle. We have, I think, some really good reading interventions in place in elementary and middle school when they're able to. But math we've struggled with, so we're piloting this. We're going to give it to us for 3 to 4 months, and we're just trying to get the most we can out of it. And I think we'll see in December or January. We'll look at results, look at the data, and see where we go from there. But
Yeah.
and that's available.
And that's in place of Dreambox that we had last year. Free from the state.
Yeah.
But
Which
for
the
middle
feedback from teachers too has
Yeah.
been really positive, and it seems like the data is more helpful, more immediate. They can find more specific skills. The reading portion aligns with our, reading curriculum, so it all kind of ties together and has, so the feedback from teachers has been really great. And
And
so,
especially
math too.
math is,
especially from the middle school, the Dreambox was a little elementary for them, so they really liked it. I felt a lot better. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right, and then this is just the last slide with kindergarten and 1st grade. And kindergarten, this is always what we expect because they come in not knowing very much. So we always have a bigger, red block, but it'll be cool to see what happens in the winter and spring benchmarks and how they grow. But looking at, first grade, our kindergarten teachers are doing something right, and our first grade teachers starting the year off because, it's looking really good. Our data's looking decent, so.
And you do this again in the spring.
In the winter and spring.
Oh,
Yeah, and then we can progress monitor, those kids that we
And
get
it's-
between.
I mean, it is only one data point too, so it's nice to see it like over the 3 trimesters, yeah. Give us a better picture.
Is this this is the Ames web?
Yes.
Like way they present it,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So, but you get the underlying data for each student.
yes,
Oh.
yeah.
Is there any way to like think, or do you guys look at it in a different way? Like you mentioned, like the light green zone, or is there another way to represent this that kind of maybe would show us, because it's hard to track year to year with kids,
Uh-huh.
like show the progression of students.
Yeah, there's different reports you can run on individual students that goes through year to year that can show you even across their career here,
Mhm.
how they're doing. And then we also create like a spreadsheet, which is how we kind of create groups and, look at those things. And sometimes we exit kids from groups and add kids. And so we have a spreadsheet of kind of all of the kids in a grade level and their scores and their oral reading fluency and things like that to kind of dive deeper into individuals. Is that?
So if you look at if I wanted to look at 7th grade, you can look at all of the 7th grade and it has all of the categories and you can sort them by oral reading
Skills.
fluency, comprehension. There's a million reports in there.
Okay.
And if you were someone came to me about a student today and was they won't write, is there something that we should be worried about? You can run individual student profile and it'll show, they're all different categories for that student. Spring or we'll have fall, but if I click for last year, I can see fall, winter and spring, and then can kind of track and be are they just saying they
Hello?
can't do it, or can they really,
Yeah.
there's a million reports in there to run.
Okay,
You can use Read Live.
okay,
Ryan picked,
we did.
which she's talking about the lime green kids, because a lot of our red tiers will also be
Okay,
kids that already
okay.
are getting
Okay, bye-bye.
individualized education programs from special ed department or something. So.
That was Richard. That's why I picked it up.
Yeah.
And he said that somebody pulled it, so he has to go and reset it. And so, but he said to keep moving on without him, and maybe we'll circle back to his report. We can maybe go through the action items up to that,
Some of that's policy guidance, so.
up to the policy, and then let him kind of.
And also, some of the math reports are really interesting because you can actually look at which problems the kids missed and how integral it is for math as in their growth. So we have a new student and I couldn't decide should I MTSS him or something, and he's really struggling in math. You can look at the analysis and it'll tell you, and it was very obvious this child has never had fractions. You can see the problems. There's a lot of really good reports in there because every one he had that had a fraction in it he missed. But yes, there's a lot of different ways to use it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, just especially with the green, you kind of get the yellow, the red, but it'd be interesting on that green, like you said, if it's 36% of median or benchmark, and it'd be interesting to see more stratification in that.
Yeah.
So if you run the whole class list, there's different colors. There's blue and turquoise, and there just isn't on the tier report.
Yeah.
Bigger one. Yeah.
Is the whole class, or that would just be a whole grade, or just a one class?
You can run I can run the whole 7th grade, and then it runs all the kids' names down the side, and it has the bars next to.
Oh, okay.
You can sort it by fourth, or you can sort it by concepts and applications, or you can sort all different ways. But yeah, it runs a report of all 88 kids, and then it has the different colors next to them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
How's student growth looking? I know that you guys can quantify that. How's that progressing?
I
Overall.
would not be able to tell you without looking at it. I don't want to guess. And
We're just kind of getting into our reports now because it's taken a while to finish the testing. So
Kind of just finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, still finishing first in kinder, so we haven't.
that's something we could bring to the next one.
the class report does run their ROIs and their standard growth percentile on there too, so.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great.
Kind of crazy looking at kindergarten first grade.
Oh, I know, right?
I just think it's weird when they're talking about how the kids are being schooled at the school. alarm
Is
system.
that, isn't it? Yes.
Your kids
I think we can narrow down our list of suspects.
I know what you're saying.
Because it used to be like all the doesn't want to stay to discuss.
Yeah.
Right, we'll hold off on the superintendent's report. And none of them. Get back. So I just finance, they sold the bills.
So, I gave you guys a report. Oh, no, I didn't give you a report. Richard was supposed to do this.
Yeah.
So you're looking at the check register for the month of September. The very first one is for the district. And I highlighted the credit card charges. And then I think that at the last meeting, it wasn't as clear as what those charges are because it just says like the credit card and gives the whole thing. So I added a little extra page or pages after the first two that shows you what charges are on each card. So it's a little bit more specific. And then let's see. I also and it is front and back. So I also highlighted kind of the odd man out in blue on the second page is the partial payment for the security cameras. And just letting you know that 10,000 of that was from the Flathead Electric Co-op. So it was kind of a larger charge. Wanted to let you know about that. The green highlighted ones on page 2 are still closing out the interlocal. And what was so weird about that is both Marion and Smith Valley sent a check in the end of July for the large amounts like 253 and 81,000, and they never got here until September. And about September 15th, our regular mailman brought in a stack of mail saying that he was on vacation and the sub driver found that stack of mail in his car and so he brought it out to us. So well, and I knew like I had been able to tell them that I hadn't received it, and they weren't the only ones. There was a couple like invoices where all of a sudden we're getting like a late notice. I'm like, wait a minute, I never got these invoices, and everyone was great when I said that. And so I knew that we knew they were missing, but at the same time they could check and they hadn't been cashed, so we weren't worried that somebody was stealing. We just thought maybe somebody like maybe it was left here and somebody grabbed the whole pile or whatever. But anyway, so yeah, it arrived to us in the middle of September. So anyway, so we're just closing that out. I think next month you'll see probably one more closeout of the interest, and then that should be done. And then everything else that's in there should be ours in the interlocal. So then if you flip on after page 404, you'll get to 1 of 7, and that's the breakdown of the individual charges for the each credit card. So and then you keep flipping forward, and this the one marked 1 of 1 is the check register for student activities for the month of September. And then the very last page that I have clicked attached here is our budget versus actual report. So it's what we've spent so far out of our budgeted money.
Make a motion to freeze the bill.
I'll second.
Okay. For any discussion, I'd just like to thank Maggie. I like the color codes. It's
nice.
great.
Thank you.
This is
Thanks.
great. Thank you very much.
I'd rather give too much information than not enough, so.
Well, it's so nice too, because we need to look back at it, you know,
Mhm.
it was.
Right, thank you. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of accepting, aye, opposed, unanimous. Okay, go on with two. Human resources personnel.
It's not a heck of a lot for classified this month. Got a higher pending your approval, have a paraprofessional lined up to be in the sped department. With Chelsea, and then we were able to hire a night custodian, which was really good. And her name is Ember. So yeah, we recommend the hiring of those guys. And then we do have, of course, our coach lineup there. We've got 2 teams per grade level. I think 1 team in 8th. So we've got 2 5th grade boys coaches, 2 6th grade, 2 7th, and 1 8th on there.
I'll make a motion to approve classified personnel and also the hiring of 5th through 8th grade basketball coaches.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Approval of the adult, education class. Before we go on here, Richard, did you want to do a superintendent's report?
I can quickly run through one.
Then we'll come back to these.
Yeah, I'll just say that the gym roof did leak over the weekend. Luckily, Terry was here and was able to mop it up and get a trash can under it. It was not a terribly serious leak. Bill called roofing companies to come out and look at it. There were 2 different people and they could not find the source of the leak, but we think we found it. So Bill was able to work his magic and his knowledge of the building and thinks that he was able to fix it. So we'll see. The hot water heater in the middle school is broken as of right now. That doesn't affect the kitchen at all because they have their own source of the ability to heat the water to the dishes, so the trays and stuff can get cleaned and washed. The sinks don't have hot water down there. We are waiting on parts to know if Phil can actually fix that on his own, which will cost us about $500 or so versus a little over $20,000 for a full replacement on that. So yeah, the going rate on those guys is 20 to 25,000. But they're huge too. So I was shocked by that first turn. Told Phil to call around, and that was the lowest one. We did put that custodial position on Indeed.com, which is the first time we used that app and website. We had 1,800 people click on the job, according to our statistics, and we ended up with 13 applications. So yeah, we figure that might be a good option for us for some classified positions in the future. We've flirted with possibly doing a substitute on there. I'm not quite sure if that's the route we want to go or not, but and it's pretty affordable, to be honest. It's more I think bang for our buck than other places that we put it in there. So anyway, yeah, we already mentioned that. We did have a surprise health visit, or health department visit this week. We still scored A+, so kudos to Jeff in the kitchen, and they do an incredible job in there. So yeah, that's great. So Marcus has cameras coming in, and he's gonna help install those on Saturday this week. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting to have that. Did get the first shipment of Chromebooks in, and then they're cataloging those and getting them out to classrooms, and then adjusting what was in those cards to other grade levels. Yeah, we did 5th grade first because we felt like that was area, not because my son is in 5th grade. But I think that as we add those and add those and add those, we'll be able to shift Chromebooks around to other grade levels as well in the process. So we're in a really, really good spot. I don't know if Felicia mentioned that they're doing Nicole in their report that there's bus drills this Friday, right?
Yeah, it's right.
So if you see 9 buses lined up, here in the front, it's because the, bus drivers do like to do a emergency bus drill to, even though not all of our kids ride the bus, but eventually field trips happen. And so it's good to know what to do in that situation. Let's get that boring report piece that talks about state reports that I have to do. I wanted to update on the weekly enrollment, which is now Brooke ran them because our A and B counted was Monday. So the numbers that of enrollment that we had Monday will be based on our funding for the fall A and B count. Then there's another A and B count in the spring. But right now we're sitting at 786 kids, which is down 6 kids from the last time we did our A last spring. Mainly, I think there were drops in first grade and third grade, I believe. Fourth grade too. So yeah, that's not a significant enough drop to really truly affect a heck of a lot, but six kids down from where we were. So,
But it just like what happened last year? It's so weird.
I know last year our peak was 820 kids was the highest. So
Our fall A and B was 801.
in the yeah. So I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, it is. It's just makes it really hard to plan.
It's impossible.
Possible is the
Yep.
right term.
It truly does. So. But, yeah.
Did you want me to speak to where we are in
Oh,
the audit?
that process?
Mhm.
No, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I think last meeting, Richard had said that we did the main upload. I had gotten that finished. And then, of course, round 2 comes and they send questionnaires and they sent a lot more questionnaires than they did last year. And I think it's, as I was telling Richard, I think that, the more we get the district funds cleaned up, the more they're going to dig into other areas. And I think that they were just being kind last year. And so they literally sent about 15 questionnaires that we had to complete. Like Marcus had to complete one for me on IT, and it sounds like we have another fire alarm going off, different one. Yeah. So anyway, I finished the questionnaires, and so it's back there. And then a lot of the questionnaires had to do with policies and procedures and on how we count money and how we account for things and you know, our transparency. And that is one thing. And I think that's important in light of, uh recent news out of this area, Hot Springs struggling with a little bit of stuff. And just want to make sure that you guys know that I'm working to make sure that the audits are very clean and everything I do is transparent as far as getting Richard to sign off on things. And we've shifted some responsibilities so that not one person's responsible for all things. I've taken back some of the reconciling of the student activities so that I have the last eye on it. And we're having teachers actually count the money ready to deposit, and then Shannon prepares the deposit, enters it in the system, and then I actually reconcile the bank account at the end of the month so that there's so we don't have, because it used to be Shannon would do the final count, prepare the deposit, enter it in the system, take it to the bank and reconcile. And so we're splitting that up so that we're having multiple eyes on things. So. And we're also working with just making sure that everything is, so the way we do things is not going to be an audit finding is what my hope is, and I was telling Richard about a couple things with student activities and like how the tournaments are being run and money. And I'm like, Richard, they're going to start picking on student activities once we get, the district cleaned up there, because that is from my experience up at Glacier, that is a trigger point for auditors. So, and I said, so they're going to start, and sure enough, that they sent out 2 questionnaires about student activities and how we collect money and how, so so we purchased two squares so that that can be used to record entry fees and take credit card, which also allows them to take credit cards, which, you know, the world is going that way. So parents don't have to come up with cash and then at the concessions so we have a little bit more accountability for money being collected at tournaments and stuff. So anyway,
That's really good. I mean, it protects the district, it protects the staff, it protects
Yep.
the funds. I mean, it's just across the board.
so as far as the audit goes, I haven't heard back on, like they didn't send a sample list, which they usually do. They want me to upload all the documentation, and I'm hoping to avoid a lot of that because one of the things that I started last year and Shannon does now is that we scan the invoices or any documentation for a check or for the credit card. So she scans the credit card receipts. And so hopefully, and when we share that with the cloud, then they get to see that. And so hopefully, I'm hoping that that's the reason they haven't sent me the big sample list. But the only thing that doesn't show is the signatures after the check has been done. But really what they want to see is the documentation as to why you're writing that check. So I'm hoping that we've avoided that big sample list. And then after that, I think it's just getting like doing the MD&A report after they look at the numbers and stuff. So that's my hope. The other thing I spent a lot of time this month on was working on Fund 115. That's the grant fund, and just reconciling where things are with all the little grants and making sure that it's all, we know what, like the library fees are collected in there, you know, or have been in the past. And so it's like able to tell Nikki that you have $4,800 that have been collected over the years for library fees because we couldn't decipher that last year. So I'm getting a grasp on that Fund 115 and getting the documentation and spreadsheet so that now we've got a whole bunch of new grants from Don K. And so now we got to start that and making sure that we can, they're local grants. It's not like title or ESSER or anything like that, but we still have to have record of how they spent their money. So that's where we're at.
I forgot to mention that Tom K. I meant to. But we have 6 teachers that were awarded $500 from them each, and then they also gave us an additional $1,000 for us to spend. So that was really exciting, and we had an assembly last week, and they came and presented to the teachers and our kids, and it was really exciting. We had some other guest speakers there too. We had Mary Grace Nepke, who's our Miss Montana teen, and she spoke to the kids about kindness. And then we also had the FFA come and do an activity with the kids. And so we had 2 assemblies, an elementary one and then a middle school one, and it was really fun. It was really, really fun. Very fun. And our middle school one got a little wild. We let us charge the music. But it was so fun. It was way more fun than if I would have been. There's a mascot out there, yeah, all the things. So really positive, and yeah, that donation from John K. though was really exciting and started off the year great for our teachers. So yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
I came to take pictures for Don K to do a contract with them, and like I cannot rave enough. Like I was so stinking proud of our kids. They were listening, they were focused. At one point the microphone went out, and so Alicia was up there like literally controlling the crowd with hand signals and like just pretty normal voice, and all the kids were just clued in and listening. And the staff from Don K and then Kevin, the owner, general manager of Don K, like walked out of there like, holy cow, that is not what you expect a public school to be like. Like that's not what when you hear about, you know, kids these days, like that's not the behavior you expect. They were so good.
And the FFA was fabulous. I could not believe how they stood up there and they led team building exercises for both elementary and for the middle schoolers, and planned them all and stood up in front of the kids and organized it and public speak, so much fun. I mean, they did such a good job and Tanya was the one that was the connection and it was just nice to have them. Yeah, the middle schoolers were great. It was really, they were both really good. Really good.
It was the first assembly for the year, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I
You
know.
expect some sort of games, but.
Right.
it was-
That was the battery not working in the microphone.
Yeah, right, yeah.
They were quiet.
They were.
I was impressed by that.
But that was last week, so we forgot about that.
Yeah, I know. It was a year ago.
I know.
Oh, thank you for that. I think, we're on. Okay, Richard, so superintendent's report, thank you.
Oh, yeah, you're
That's over. So I'll go on to C, the approval of the adult education class, the continuing education community fitness program. Did you want to address that, Richard?
I'm sure Tara Measure runs a community fitness program Mondays after school, and we'd like to keep doing it. It's part of the adult ed monies that we have to spend, so it's a good use of those.
And did we say something that we should have, make sure people sign?
I did. I spoke to her the other day. Yeah.
That's part of that audit process of the
Yep.
drilling down a little bit further to know like who's going, what is this, or did you just cut someone a check?
Yeah.
Have them go in the
So
sunset.
she'll have attendees sign in basically,
Mhm.
so that if we were ever questioned on how it was being spent, we have signatures from adults.
Give her like $40.
I know, it's a tricksy thing, I know. Well, and I talked to her about that Shape Montana, that she attends in the spring or summer each year. Because I think she had some grant money that actually is done now. I found that out during my grant thing. And so I asked her if anything that she learns during that, if she can apply it during the adult education so that we can use some of those funds to cover her Shape Montana, or she might only be able to do the Shape Montana maybe every other year, you know. And she said that there's definitely, you know, sessions that she attends and that would work or would apply to the adult classes that she teaches. So just trying to be creative. Pardon me?
They do donate.
Okay. Okay, so she can maybe reach out there. Okay, good idea.
I'll make a motion to approve the adult education class.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Okay.
Do we need to approve Tara Measure as the teacher, or we?
Correct, yeah, we're okay there.
Okay, now this is the updated incident response plan, cyber incident. Martha, do you want to address that? Our incident response
Yeah, it
to a
was just,
cyber incident.
yeah, it was just it's a planned response in case something was to happen. Basically, all I was gonna do at this point was just update it, to remove the previous, tech director and, we no longer deal with, schoolhouse IT, so we cover as well. Everything else was just saying.
Because you're doing it yourself, rather than having to outsource things like that. Great. So, we thank you for doing that.
Make a motion to approve the West Valley Incident Response Plan.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
I
Opposed? Unanimous.
derailed us on C, we never had a vote, so we did the vote on the community fitness request.
Oh, I had Jeff.
Made a motion.
Oh, but we didn't vote. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, what's this now?
We just have to, vote to approve the community fitness request.
Well, I think we approved the.
We got to the motion, but we didn't go to the,
I asked a
Approval.
clarifying question and then we moved on. We didn't
Okay.
vote, we have to vote.
We approved that adult education. Okay, let's go. All right, so shall we vote on the continuing adult education?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. So now we can go on to policy adjustments. Now this is, go through those, all of them are mandated by law, except there was one where we had an option which had a paragraph that had to do with artificial intelligence, including that as a
Yeah, basically having something in policy for artificial intelligence. So that students are aware that there will be caught completely using AI. It
Right.
does say in there that if it's used as a tool, that it's used responsibly as a tool and the teacher direction as a tool, rather than just leaving it open. As where it is now, there's not a lot of direction for that. So that paragraph in there basically gave people like, okay, we know AI is going to be around, it's here. So if it's used responsibly, then that's okay, but they can't go rogue on it, pretend to turn in a paper that is written by AI essentially. So there's some judgment there, of course, in the interpretation of the teacher, and that we can handle that too as we would anything.
I'd like to thank Richard for the format that he presented this with the original and the revised with his little notes that explained in detail what the changes were made. That made it a lot clearer that we didn't have to go through it. We made it a lot better. So thank you for doing that.
So what about parents, when your kid asks you to proofread his paper, and then you're like, well, you could just put it in ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Or I could go through here with my red pen for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I think that would be fine.
That's fine.
Are you asking for a friend, Jeff?
I'm just wondering.
Asking.
Went through its red pen and I was like, this isn't very efficient. How the real world works anymore. So all these policies outside of the AI are required. So the number 2 on that list is a required policy. So every school district is gonna adopt that.
Correct. Yeah, everyone
Regardless
has to. Correct. Okay. Yep, and it's updated to reflect House Bill 471.
Okay.
For parental opt-in. So human sexuality instruction is still an opt-out, but identity instruction is an opt-in. So
I appreciate your comment there where you said that. Class, if the question is asked in class
exactly.
and it's pertinent to the class, it can be answered
by the teacher.
by the teacher without
To maintain
the
it.
fear of any kind of retaliation. So I thought, I was grateful for that note.
Yeah,
I'm
for
glad
sure.
that's in there.
Me
So
too. Me too.
teachers had that. tool.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the policies as follows: 2100, 2135, 5120, 5122, 5250, 5321, 8111, 8450, 3310, 3612, and 5460.
Second.
Is there any discussion on those more? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Both unanimous. Okay. Now we go come to the last item on the action agenda, to accept the resignation of Oil, because she is moving. And we have tried, I made several phone calls, emails.
By moving, just down the road.
Literally.
Not like moving.
Literally, one road too many.
Across country, or, yeah, unfortunately, but there was no way to stretch that. I made some texts, emails, and nobody could say there was any wiggle room on that. Once you're out of the district, you're out to school, but so unfortunately, it's ladies.
Yeah.
So we, as I understand it, we'll vote to accept your resignation here. Then you'll have the next meeting, at which time we will hopefully be able to put another board member in.
Yes.
And that'll be, your last meeting.
Yeah, it is not. I wish there was a loophole, cause I'm really, like, I would have never guessed that I would have enjoyed donating hundreds of hours for free. But I have, like, every second with you guys, it's been such a privilege, like, this team, this school, the students, the community, the board members, the staff, I wish I could just take how I'm feeling and like show it and have it be words, because truly, like, this has been an experience unlike any other. And there were really, really, really tough moments and really tough obstacles, but man, like, I could not have done it with like a better group of people. They just literally, I mean, it's literally like the West Valley, like, better together, you know? Just been amazing.
Yes, and we'll surely miss Laurel. There'll be nobody to replace her. We'll just have to find somebody to be here for.
Well, hopefully they'll bring like new great skills, abilities, attitude. It'll be good.
And with that,
Equal energy.
with that said, with that
Is
said,
it a good thing all the time?
we do need to be kind of beating the bushes for a member that, somebody to step up to the plate, to take a position here. So anybody have any ideas? And Maggie, would they just make a they'll just, yeah.
I think, so I put together or did a little research, trustee resignation procedures and steps, what we need to do.
But we really don't have a application on file.
No, in fact, we can, the board can just appoint somebody.
Right. We can, but I just was hoping that, you know, if we get 3 or 4 people, it's much like we did when we put Mark and Laurel on. We had a little bit of a presentation and made it so much easier. But there was no application that we could fill out.
No, you just had to write a letter of intent, and then we came and shared why we wanted to be on the board, and then the board made a decision.
We should do that.
So is that something we'd want to put in the newsletter? I mean, how do we want to let people know that there's a position open and a letter of intent? Or do you want to pursue people and let them know?
I think you have to make it public, I would assume. You don't? Oh.
Actually,
Oh, really?
It says the remaining trustee must appoint in writing within 60 days a competent person to fill the vacancy.
You do have to make reasonable, like in our policy, it says reasonable notice, but there's no state law that says you have to make it public.
I think the newsletter would work, and then we can
Ask Brooke to put it in
reach
there.
out to people, and then we can do the.
I think that's whole
Same
word
process.
of mouth.
I mean, it's for, yeah, anyway.
Are you gonna make her own motion to accept her resignation?
I was telling Megan, I'm like, I feel like the 16-year-old girl whose mom's making her break up with her boyfriend or something. I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah, we're no short staffed here, so
Yeah.
maybe just.
Well, I found the loophole there. We just don't do anything. So
We don't have a quorum. See, if we never have a quorum, then you can't accept the resignation.
I'll make a motion to accept Laurel's resignation.
I'll second.
All right, is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Yes. Okay, we'll go forward to that. All right?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay.
The only time I've ever beat Steph to it.
Got a thing. I think we need a technology person on board.
Yeah, you don't need another banker.
Another little bit.